Alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to reinvent yourself in your 30s. How to start again, whatever it is that you want to do, something different, something big. How do you do that in your 30s when it seems like everyone else has their life figured out? Everyone knows what they want to do. They're going, like getting promotions at jobs, have established careers or getting married, and you're just there like, wait, I don't actually know what the hell I'm going to do with my life. And I've been there myself. So I want to help you because it can be a period that has a lot of anxiety. Because it's also like that critical point where society's expectations and social pressure, like in the family meetings or whatever, starts to meet like your internal anxiety as well of feeling, wait, I should have my life figured out. First thing to say is it's completely normal to not know what you want in life or to feel like you haven't got anything figured out as you hit 30. It's normal. It's fine. In fact, a lot of the people that are in established jobs or acting like, they know what they're doing and they're loving their job or in established relationships, a lot of them, okay, they don't actually take time to inquire into themselves about what it is they truly want in life. And because they don't want to fall into that anxiety of thinking, what do I truly want? They didn't really want this anxiety feeling. They wanted to just take the next step that was supposed to be taken. So they're always like ahead of the curve or doing the right thing by everyone's standards. Seriously, like ask yourself, like, do you think your friends who have these like established things, like they actually took time to be like, is this what I want to do with my life? Is this what's going to give me fulfillment where I want to dedicate my life? I mean, obviously there are some people that did do this, but the majority of people are living in order to avoid that exact anxiety that you're feeling. And that's why they say yes to that job. That's why they say yes to the proposal even. And this is, frankly speaking, in my opinion, how 90+% of the world live. Because anxiety is basically the same thing as freedom. This is something that I'll talk about in another video, maybe the next video. I don't want to get too philosophical right now. But understand that if you feel anxious, it's on some level because you want to be free. Because you really want to make choices that matter to you. That matter in the grand scheme of things. But I digress, all right? So let me tell you a little bit about my story as I turned 30, right? Because I turned 30, I had no money, no net worth, maybe negative net worth because I moved back in with my parents, like a 30-year-old single guy living with his parents. It's unthinkable almost in Korea, right? I just come out of the military service in Korea, something that I had avoided and ran away from for the majority of my 20s. And I was kind of overqualified because I could speak these languages and I had this like masters and stuff from abroad. And I'm here in Korea, like sort of overqualified and difficult to hire from companies' perspectives as well. Like I go to these consulting interviews. I know I didn't want to do it, but I went there just because of the same anxiety that we just talked about. And then the guys would like feel kind of threatened because I was overeducated. But they also really wanted me, and it was just a weird thing. And in the end, when I saw the offices, the cubicles, the mood, the facial expressions of the people that were interviewing me and stuff, I was like, I don't really want to be in this environment. So there was this thing that I always wanted to do, which is make content, be a coach, and do YouTube. Let me try that, right? And can you imagine this, right? Like, my friends are in established jobs and doing all this kind of stuff. I'm coming out the military. I'm 30. I'm turning 30. No money. And I think I'm going to make YouTube videos. Do you think I was not anxious about my future? Do you think I was like just, I'm going to... Like, of course it happened. And of course there were people around me thinking or saying or just simply advising, like biggest was from the parents, like, even if you wanted to do your own business, you should get the experience by going to a job, go find a job, understand the system. That's what they always say, right? But I just knew, I was like, no, this is something that I want to try and I'm going to do it. And I started making these vlogs. I started making these random travel vlogs. Maybe some of you have seen them, like went to Thailand with my friend and things. And at some point, my brother goes, okay, dude, I love watching your vlogs because you're my bro, but you're not a hot girl. You don't have a big ass. Like, why are people going to be interested in this? Why don't you make some videos about how you helped like other people and myself and yourself in transforming your body? Why don't you make a video about that? And that's how the fitness channel started. Some of you might not know I have a fitness channel, right? So what does that mean? What am I trying to say? The first thing is you need to break the flow in a way, right? Because what I was going through was just academia after academia after academia, just going through the hurdles of like, passing the exams, then finding a job. And again, like I said, to avoid the anxiety, like you're always doing something so that you feel like you're going somewhere. Because if you don't, you have to stop and reflect, and that makes you anxious. So everyone's constantly trying to do something. It's probably why people smoke as well. And then, anyways, what the military did is it kind of broke the flow of academia, broke the flow of just trying to go somewhere in that profession. And it was just such a radical, like, break in what the hell I was doing that I was forced to kind of think and reinvent and kind of ask myself, what the hell is going to happen with my life afterwards? It was almost like a forced period of anxiety. And I'm so thankful for that now, because that initial like break is what gave me the mental space to re-envisage my future life and to make like even content ideas. I was coaching like military guys in there because they were younger than me with fitness and with life and giving life advice. And it was in here that I started cultivating this idea, this dream of, doing this YouTube and this coaching as a real business. Okay. So what does that mean? That means in your life right now, you're in various rhythms, various flows. Think about your life as a big story and like which chapter you're in. And in this chapter, you probably think like everything's happening just nonstop, but you're just in this rhythm. You're just taking along because it's what you've been doing, because it's what you've always thought you should be doing. And you're just going, right? Maybe you're at university just doing this next thing. Maybe you're just like you're applying for jobs or trying this new business. And what you need to do is sometimes take a break from the flow of that way of thinking. And you can take small breaks by just like going out to nature. You can spend a week in nature and just really just not think about anything except just chill around. You can maybe go traveling and change your environment completely. And what that does is it breaks the normal pattern of thinking that you already have so that you can have new ideas and new ways of thinking. And in that moment, a space opens up for something else, some new idea to come to you. Something that is maybe closer to what you truly want in your gut. Okay. So that's the next thing. That leads on to the next point, which is to have patience and to listen to your gut. Right. So let's say you took a little break from your job or whatever. You took like 1 week in nature by yourself, or you went traveling, or maybe you had a forced break by you got fired or something like this. Don't see this as a devastating situation. Maybe you quit your job. Maybe you don't know what's happening in your life in the next stage. Don't take this moment to be like a bad thing that you need to run out of. Like, don't rush into the next relationship. The time you spend after you break up is the time you really need, right? A lot of people say it's the same thing. Like, let's say you got laid off or you quit or you took this intentional break. Don't try to run away from the anxiety that is inherent in that break, because it is that moment. If you're patient in that moment and you're open to new things entering you, something will happen. Like some vision is going to come to you. I don't mean to sound too esoteric, but something's going to happen where you're going to start to like think like, shit, this is actually what I want. I'd love to do this, right? Or some new idea. It may literally be something like a vision. like a dream or like something you see, or just like a advertising you see that gives you an inspiration. But all of this like weird creative inspiration can only come if you have the patience to wait for it in that moment of anxiety. Does that make sense? And when it comes, it doesn't come on the level of intellect usually. It's usually like a gut feeling. It's a gut feeling, and it's like a flash where you're like, oh, that would be really cool, right? And then your brain and all the years of conditioning and education is going to come flooding back and tell you why that idea you had was so dumb, you should never do it. Okay? The brain interrupts the gut. Like a second after, the gut feeling just shows you the truth. So you have to have the patience to wait for a vision and the courage to follow your gut. Okay? Whatever it is. It may be to start a new business. It may be to quit your job and start something new. It may be to apply to this thing that you never thought you would, and whatever it is. Okay? And this is usually happening around that critical moment at 30 years of age, because it's like that moment of like, am I going to continue just doing whatever the hell I've been told I need to do? Or it's like the last chance to reinvent myself. It's not actually the last chance, but that's how you feel, right? Next. So you've waited for the vision, and you've seen this kind of idea emerge in your gut. And then it kind of develops and you're like, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. What do you got to do? You got to have the courage to just take that opportunity and go for it. Okay, you got to, when something happens, usually if you have an opportunity, a lot of people are just like, oh, they're half-assed about it. They're wondering whether it's going to succeed. They're kind of sad. They're kind of thinking, is this going to be okay? Is this going to fail? And because of that, they never take that first step. But what you have to do instead is think, well, the faster I figure out whether it's going to work or not, the faster I can move on to another thing. So I need to just give it my best shot and try it right now. And that's what you need to do. You need to just go head in that's what I did, right? When I made the video, and after a month, like my first fitness video started taking off on the YouTube algorithm, I knew that this was a wave, that this was a momentum that I needed to ride. And I knew that chance, right? Even though fitness isn't my only passion. And as you can probably see from this video, I want to delve into lots of other topics and things. Like I knew that that was my window into this online creator world where I could coach people and give them value in this way. So I remember making like lead magnets or free workout routines to really build a business out of this. And all the things that I had done in my PhD years or in my free time in my master's, where I was trying to like hustle and make side money and learning about sales and marketing and online business. Like I was doing all of this stuff when I didn't even know why or how it would benefit me. But years later, when my YouTube took off, I had actually the knowledge and the basic like know-how to set the foundations for an online business because of all the things that I'd done in the past. And that leads on to the next point, which is trust that the dots will connect. Right? You think right now that you've done so many different things in your life that have no connection to each other, right? You're like, I studied this in uni, and then now I got this job experience, and then I did this summer camp for a bit, and then I went traveling to South Africa, and now I'm trying to do this. Like, shouldn't there be this continuous flow that I go from A to B? Guess who instilled that way of thinking into your brain? That's how society wants you to think, just in a linear, causal manner. But creative people, and generally just free people, your life should not be like this. It's the connection is there if you make it and if you believe it to be there. I had a philosophy degree, philosophy, politics, economics to be exact. And then I did urban studies and sociology, studying how city spaces were produced. And you might think, and a lot of people might think like, oh, you make fitness YouTube videos. There's absolutely no connection between philosophy and this. Well, there is. And it's the work that I did in that realm that gives me the depth of understanding to explain certain things, especially related to the mindset of fitness, that actually separated me from the normal fitness influences, right? It's my study of like spatial design and my appreciation of minimalism that I can draw like connections between minimalist architecture and minimalist training, right? So and it's all my academic like writing and depth of thought and all this kind of stuff that comes out in just the way that I speak. It's all those hours of trying to study online sales and marketing that translates into my ability to actually write some kind of copy to generate sales for my business, so that I can not just be a creator, but someone who monetizes my brand. Like, all of these things that in the moment seem like, what the hell is this? In the end, when you find that one thing that you're putting your eggs into, everything will connect like like magic. It's what Steve Jobs said. Trust that the dots will connect. And this is one of the biggest advice that I can do for you if you feel lost and anxious going into your 30s. Don't worry about like all these random BS naysayers, which is the next point, who say, oh, you did this, so you should do this next. Oh, then you should do a PhD. Oh, then you should do a postdoc and then go into this research institute and then try to graduate to vice president, then president. This freaking step-by-step formula that they lay out for you since you're 4 until you're 33, it's just all there so that you live the life that they live, whoever the they is, because then they also feel good about the life that they lived, because you follow in their footsteps. But if you do something radically different, it subconsciously signals to them that they also could have done something radically different. And that's unsettling, right? It gives them anxiety. And people run the fuck away from anxiety. Okay? And the price you pay is freedom. Okay, and this is going to be the topic of my next video, how anxiety is linked with freedom. But basically, you need to ignore the naysayers or ignore the people, the dreaded they, who seem to just like imprint their worldview of like causation, like one step follows another. It doesn't need to be like that. You can jump around, scatter around, and just live your life however the hell you want. And it is going to be, you're going to be anxious, but that's the price you pay to live the life that's deliberate and free for you. Okay. So have the courage to, like, when you find that thing that you want to do, just like, okay, I'm going to do it. And fuck what anyone else says. Fuck that guy who says no. You just need one guy, right? One friend or like one family member, right? You just need one who's like truly got your best interests at heart and says, you know what? I think you could do this. Like, I would love to see you try this. That's all you need, that one person. Right? Do you have that person that genuinely wants you to succeed? If you have that person, that's all you need. But if that person says you shouldn't do it, then maybe you should have a little rethink. But be careful who you listen to. And the final thing that I'll wrap up this video is like, yes, 30s is the new 20s, I feel. Right now, everything's been pushed from life expectancy or to marriage, or to like just everything's like getting pushed to later, right? Marriage and all the death, whatever. So you might feel like you should have everything sorted out by age 30, but you don't, okay? In fact, 30 is really when things get started. 20s is you just experienced a lot of things, right? You just tried a lot of things, a lot of different things to figure out what it is that you want to dedicate a decade to. That's what it is. 10s is just like laying foundations, right? And social skills, hopefully. 20s is like trying out a bunch of shit to know what is worth dedicating my life to for the next 10 years. And 30s is that. So it's right now. Like, if you're coming up to 30 or you're anxious right now, don't worry. It's the new 20s. You're just getting started. And if you follow some of the things that I said, or if you just could latch onto a few ideas, then I think it could really make a difference in how you go about this phase of your life. And yeah, so hope this video helped. And give me some ideas for more videos. It's a very free flow kind of style, but yeah, let me know what you think. Bye bye.